good enough, if I'm being real with you. If I'm being real with myself, I think if I did play well enough, I don't think there would be any sort of who should be playing, who should not. So at the end of the day, we got a few wins. Of course, I'm glad about that, but there's areas that I could be better at, and I'm just gonna continue to work on those and continue to get better.
Justin Fields saying if he played better, there would not be a quarterback controversy. I paraphrased, but we've all seen the clip. You've all probably heard the clip. You listen to the station every day. You don't get that a lot anymore, especially from a quarterback that's accounted for 10 touchdowns and only turned the ball over twice, whose team is 4-2 when he starts. If I'd have played better, I'd have been the guy. There wouldn't be a conversation. Is he right? 412-928-9370. Dorin?
He's right, but I hope he understands that he played pretty good, played well enough. And I don't think that he is down on himself. I think he's still confident, but he's absolutely right. If he had a chance to take that spot and take it. Every opportunity is, you got to take advantage of it. And if he would have went out there and, balled out, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Yeah. At all. That's just, it is what it is. But at the same time, you got a young guy that is being rebuilt, and I just hope that he and I know that his teammates will come to his side and talk to him about this, that he did pretty good for what he was asked to do. He did. He did really good for what he was asked to do. It wasn't great, because if it was great, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But I just hope that he knows that, for what he was asked to do in the situation he was put in, he's not the same player, in my opinion, than he was in Chicago anymore. There's a lot of positives you could draw from Justin Fields, and that situation right there, watching that, being a former player, just makes me smile, because just taking full accountability, and that's what you want in your quarterback. That's what you want in teammates. He could have been yeah, it's tough, it's rough, and I just thought that I did the best that I can. No, he was obviously I didn't play well enough, and this is where we're at. And next time I get my opportunity, I'm going to have to play better. That's kind of how cut and dry it is. But I just really hope that he knows that he played pretty good for what the situation was.
Definitely didn't play bad. I think played better than mediocre, which means he played pretty good. This is a small sample size, but NFL Live threw up this graphic yesterday. Win percentage of quarterbacks since Ben Roethlisberger, 543. Total quarterback rating, 49. Touchdown to interception ratio, 1.1. Pass and rush yards per game, 182. You flip it over to Justin Fields, a winning percentage of 667, total QBR of 54, which means above average. 49 is below average. Touchdown to interception ratio is 5, and then total yards accounted for, 222. So you get kind of caught here, right? Justin Fields has been better than what we've experienced as Steelers fans for the last couple of seasons. He has been. Mm-hmm. But that's good, not to be confused with great, as Mike Tomlin said in his press conference on Tuesday. You don't bring Justin Fields or Russell Wilson in to merely be better than what you had. You want them to be very good football players. And I think Justin Fields, if they would have let him play 17 games, I think he might be able to get to great. I think consistency is his biggest issue. We've seen the talent. We've seen the legs. We've seen some spectacular. We've seen some ugly. I wanted them to let him go so that he could week in and week out have that opportunity to grow. I think there's nuance here. I wanted to see that. I still want to see that. But I think he's also partially correct here. He played well enough for the team to be 4-2, and in the 2 losses, you can make the argument that it was the defense in the poor starts that let the team down more than Justin Fields. But if he goes out against Dallas and throws for 3 touchdowns and they win the football game, he's your starting quarterback on Sunday. He's been good. If he grabbed the opportunity by the haunches on national television against one of, if not the biggest brands in football, a team that we now know isn't all that good in Dallas, he's your starting quarterback. So I think he's got it half right, but where he's got it 100% right is the way he's handled it.
Yep.
And oddly, even though it all sounds like he's getting benched for Russell Wilson, I might feel better today about him as a franchise quarterback than I did before those comments. Mm-hmm. That's a leader, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He knew what it looked like in Chicago, and man, I'm sure it was hard to be there and to lose as much as they did. He comes to Pittsburgh, and already he's won more than he's lost, and he's protected the football in a way he didn't in Chicago. Your point's right. He's got better than what he was there. He got better coaching than what he was getting there. He's gone through it already in 3+ years in the NFL, and still to have that mindset, I should have been better. Dorin, I think he's going to be here next year. I don't know if that's in the franchise quarterback capacity, but if he's the backup to Russell Wilson next year, or if he's the guy and you draft a guy and there's a competition, I think he can handle it. There's been a lot of questions this week. Is he going to be pissed off by this? Is he going to be able to be reinserted as the quarterback if Russell Wilson stinks? I think the answer to all those kinds of questions is yes, because he's got a great doggone head on his shoulders.
Well, he's motivated to be great, and guys that are motivated to be great, they assess themselves. They're very hard on themselves, but they assess themselves day in and day out. And he knows what it takes to play high level football. I don't know if they won a they went to a national championship in Ohio State. I know that for a fact, and he was a top pick in the draft. He's ultra talented. He's not going to fool himself. If you want to be great, if you want to get to that level where you're great and you're consistently great, and every single guy that's in that locker room has aspirations of doing that, you have to be honest with yourself. And he was very honest with himself, and he was very honest for, during that interview, listen, I had an opportunity. I didn't do some things right. If I would have did those things, we wouldn't be having this conversation. And that tells me that he's going to still be motivated. He's not going to sulk. He's not going to feel sorry for himself. He's going to say, you know what, next time I get my opportunity, when that comes around again, I'm going to be more prepared. I'm going to keep working to get to that level. And you're absolutely right. I definitely think that he's going to be around on this team next year, and they're going to give him every opportunity to be the number one guy. Don't know what's going to happen with Russ. Don't know what's going to happen in draft. Don't know what's going to happen on the outside stuff. But I think whenever we think of him, the coaching staff's job and the Pittsburgh Steelers' job during this situation was to make sure that he stays confident. And I think that they did a good job at doing that. There's no way that I think Mike Tomlin sat him down and said that you didn't do a good enough job.
Yeah.
There's no way that Arthur Smith sat down and said that you didn't do enough. We're just trying to win football games right now. We loved everything that you did. You're going to be a great player here. You did so many good things. Look how far you've come from last year to this year, man. Keep working. This will all work out in the end. Don't know when the end's going to be, but for right now, we have to do what's best for the team, and we're going to go in this direction and try this out. And I think that this situation, it may benefit whenever it's all said and done, because the guy's still motivated. He it wasn't like last year whenever you saw Kenny Pickett, you saw those interviews, and Kenny Pickett was just beat down into the ground for so many reasons. He was gone. He was lost. Justin Fields isn't lost. Justin Fields is okay, I know what I need to do next time.
Yes.
I have the info. I have the intel of what I need to do next time, and I'm going to do that because I want to be great. And that's how I took that interview. And that was very, very refreshing, as you said, too, to hear that from a young-ish player that is in a situation where he's competing, he's, trying to revive his career. And, I do think that when it's all said and done, that kid will figure it out. And it'll be pretty good.
I think so too, man. And I'm happy you brought up the Kenny thing from last year. I was looking for the audio while you were talking there when Kenny was asked, can you learn anything from the sideline, was basically the question. And just a real quick no. And we know it was reported in Seattle, and we know it was reported when the Steelers acquired Russell Wilson this offseason. Justin Fields has kind of done the 180 on that. Okay, I wasn't good enough. I feel like he was too hard on himself.
Yeah.
He was not as bad at all as the way he described it. But if you're going to be successful in anything in life, I think you need to be your hardest critic.
Yes.
You absolutely have to. How many times do we do a show and Craig will be like, the stream numbers were great, guys, great stuff. I'm like, I suck.
All done.
All the time. I know how motivated you are for self-improvement with everything in life. You've got to be. And for him to say 4-2, 10 touchdowns, only 2 turnovers, threw for 300 against Indy, running all over defenses, I wasn't good enough. He got that part figured out. And that's a huge part of being a franchise quarterback.
Absolutely.
Not just the between the white line stuff, but the maturity, being able to handle criticism, being able to handle coaching. And if the Steelers do go back to Fields at some point this year, I have full faith that he's going to be in the right headspace. And I feel really good about this kid right now. Really good.
You can't teach that.
Nope.
You can work on everything else. You could fine tune the physical stuff, but you can't teach that. If I'm the Steelers, I feel really good about Justin Fields in the future.
Yes.
Because you can't teach that. Like, either you have that or you don't. Like, either you develop that on your own or you don't have it. And we see it a lot.
And there seems to be this idea that because they're going to insert Russell Wilson, that means, well, they can't possibly believe in Justin Fields as a long-term answer at quarterback. That's what I thought initially. But then you think about the message from Art Rooney at the end of last year. You think about what they did this offseason. They were going for Brandon Ayuk. They were in it on Devontae Adams. They get Patrick Queen. They moved off of the entire quarterback room, all for what? To win a playoff game. They want to see if Russell Wilson gives them a better chance to win a playoff game right now.
Yes.
And if he gives you what Fields gave you, I think you wind up going back with Fields because he is younger and you just saw you can win with him.
And he's probably going to be your guy.
Right.
Moving on.
Yes. And with Russ, okay, hey, we saw what happened last year. We weren't playing the best quarterback. Let's see if Russell Wilson's the better quarterback for right now.
Yeah.
There is more nuance, I think, involved with this than people will think about.